Hey, I'm Jeremy with Professional Roofers. We're out here inspecting this ranch-style house in Nashville. We can see, just walking up, you can see indications of leaking at the pipe boot here. Looks like there's rotted decking present there. You can see some obvious dipping between the gutter and the pipe boot there. And usually that's indications of a long-term leak that has rotted the wood underneath, and so that wood is sagging from all the water that has been left on it. So we're going to hop up and take a look. All right, so here we have some sort of little gas stack. This is probably some sort of exhaust. This little guy has actually started to come completely unhinged from the roof. There are nails that used to be holding this in place. The nails themselves have started to come up, so you're gonna have water enter in from those nail penetrations because those holes are no longer filled. And there's also a hole underneath this guy where water is actually gonna, start to enter in as well. So leaking can occur all around, things on your roof like this. Those are good things to check to make sure that you're not actually having any early signs of leaking that could lead to rotten decking. During a roof inspection, things that I always like to look out for and take note of is how many pipe boots, we just went over those, that are on the roof, how many gas stacks, and if there are any electric poles, because those use a special boot. You can see the kind right across the roof over here. Those are actually new split boots that we use for electric poles. This one does not have one because it's older. I also like to ask the customer about satellite dishes. Those have to be removed and reconfigured and reset with your provider during roof install. And a lot of times it's 2020, so people don't actually use their satellites anymore. We actually can just leave those off during install if you like. So our customer told us that she's experienced leaking in her bedroom, which is right below this portion of the roof. Usually in those instances, you would look for a pipe boot like we already talked about on another portion of the roof. Here there is no pipe boot. They must not have a bathroom in this part of the house. So the only thing that we can look for is obviously this vent here, which has a nail protruding out of it here. Water has been entering around that. There's also another nail hole here where it looks like a nail used to be and someone has tried to seal around it. Water is probably entering in around both those holes and allowing the customer to see leaking in their ceiling on the bedroom. The only other thing to really talk about on this roof is ventilation. I mean, this is really an option for you as the consumer. The typical thing that you see are box vents, which we have on older style houses. The next thing you normally see is whirlybird vents like this. The problem with these this day and age is that you're thinking about this attic, which obviously stretches the entirety of this roof and the entirety of the house. You think about all of the hot air inside of an attic trying to escape out of these two small holes. The whirlybirds help because they actually spin and help pull the hot air out. Box vents simply just sit. Air does escape out of it, but not nearly as much. The most efficient thing you can do is use a ridge vent system instead, which consists of, during roof install, taking a saw and cutting along both sides of the ridge here, which allows air to escape from one side of the house all the way to the other through the ridge all the way across. So you have to think about air not trying to escape through two small holes, but being able to just pull naturally up to the top and being pulled out completely across the entirety of the roof.